Wow, you guys, I can't believe we finally got to this point. The final Tokyo Ghoul podcast. I mean, we talked about it last week, but this is it, everybody. This is going to be the end of the Tokyo Ghoul podcast. But like I said before in the last one, it's not exactly over because we know there's going to be a part 3. And honestly, this podcast, besides just talking about the chapter, this is going to be a big send-off for all you guys because of all the support that you have given us. And
Objection! What are you talking about? Why are we ending the podcast here? We can't end the podcast. We got one thing left to cover.
We do?
It's the most important thing that ever happened to the whole entire fan base of Tokyo Ghoul.
And that is?
The anime! We got an anime now! We should celebrate about the anime. We should go crazy. Come on, let's celebrate and join hands. That Studio Peria, the one that did an amazing job for Route A, the original series for Tokyo Ghoul, is now coming back for Tokyo Ghoul Re. Hooray, right?
We're doomed.
Come on. I mean, yeah, we have that dragon thing. That is something, but anime.
Oh, right. We do have the dragon thing. Shit.
Yeah.
We can't end it just yet.
Yeah, but anime.
Forget the anime.
Oh. Let's just go with the dragon then. I don't mind talking about dragon. That is something that is interesting too.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so forget what I just said about this being the finale podcast because it seems like we still have quite a lot to talk about. Hey guys, what's up? Lucky Cheese 7 is here today to give you guys another Tokyo Ghoul podcast. And don't be mistaken, this is not the final Tokyo Ghoul podcast if that's what you thought this was going to be, because it obviously isn't. And like always, I've got a special friend / special guest with me today. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Sparda3g here again for another podcast. But not the last one. Oh, no. We got more now. Thanks to the anime, we're going to talk about Tokyo Ghoul Re for a long, long, long time. That is, we have this dragon thing. That is now the main topic for all of us to discuss, because that is something that could distract us before the epic and the most phenomenal work since, I don't know, whatever the best anime you could think of at the top of your head comes true, which is next year. So we got enough time to talk about some dragon. Yeah, because dragon is the greatest thing to talk about. Dragon Ball Z and other dragon stuff. Because why not?
Black Dragon, Igneo, Acnology.
Yes, everybody use dragons. Come on. The dragon is always a great thing. So, yeah, we're back here again for another podcast. And thank God it's not the last one.
Seriously.
Make
no mistake. We were concerned.
Let me just say this. I think, I don't want to say everyone, but I do believe a lot of people who reacted so vividly with this so-called second last chapter, that is 143, fell for completely, that they believed that this chapter 144 was going to be the end, with the title or the preview end credits was named after. And who would have think, maybe it was just like, oh, okay, it's like the parallel to part 1, except for ending one more extra chapter. But hey, it wanted to do it and end it because why not? We need to end it somewhere. So Kaneki has to lose. Why not? We have to end it in a parallel style. And no, we were lied. We were trolled. We were bamboozled. We were spectador. If I don't even know that's a word. Point is, we were fooled. We were played by the damn fiddle.
I think we both kind of mentioned it in the last podcast, but it felt too. I don't know if I would say the word coincidental, but it felt very purposely used, the way how 143 was for Re, because we all know how monumental the original Tokyo Ghoul Re chapter original Tokyo Ghoul 143 chapter was, and I think what Ishida wanted to do was just kind of have that same effect, if that makes any sense.
No, it makes sense. Maybe he is aware that he was always doing this whole parallel idea. So maybe now he just decided to make fun of it, or we would rather take advantage and use our mind to actually think that it's going to happen the exact same thing with Kaneki losing, Kaneki going into a mental disorder, and then, all tragic ending. But instead, it goes completely different because that was never his idea. It was just something that we actually believed in, thinking it's going to be a parallel, only to, in fact, is actually a huge change up.
Oh yeah, and especially when you consider like all the parallels we've been getting to the Antake Raid arc. So the second you get that, it's like, well, oh my god, like it's there. But then this chapter does a complete 180 in a lot of ways. And speaking of parallels, this first page on 144, aside from what we see here with the color page with Kaneki, if you look in this very small corner, we have the volume 13 cover. And we have Juzo. Now, if you guys remember, the original Tokyo Ghoul cover, we had Arima. And what was the one thing throughout this entire volume that Suzuya was referenced as? The new Arima, right? So, symbolic? I definitely think so.
It's not a coincidence. I don't think so.
And it's also hints that we're going to get another volume. And I think that other volume is going to be the final volume in Re. That's for certain.
I still believe. Don't worry. Your suggestion for the sequel name would not go in vain, because I do believe we are still going to get part 3. It's just that fact we're going to have more chapters than the first part. And also this whole Juzo Suzuya being the front cover for volume 13, it supposedly only covers up to this recent chapter, if not the last chapter.
That's correct. I think that's correct.
Yeah. So even so, you can still have Kaneki to be in the next volume cover, which will parallel to the first one. And you could still end it with 14 volumes for both parts. And therefore, you could still get away with it. And that means with this way, with this recent development, which is pretty much like a big giant landscape change, you pretty much could say, like, yeah, we at the peak of this series, of this part. So whatever happens next, we'll just transition to the next part. Because when you look at part one has that big transition, since Tokyo Ghoul was like, the monument of the fact that the family has to break apart with Kaneki, Toka, Hinami, and everyone else from that cafe. And they all split apart because of that raid. Then for part 2, it could be another split apart again. But this time it's the fact that the entire Tokyo is in deep, dire situation with Kaneki being dragon. And with that in mindset, that means you got to have a part 3 to separate from that changing event and just start like something anew, whatever it is, though.
That's actually a pretty good way to put it. And I want to say this right now. The title for Tokyo Ghoul, like, I know I've been saying Tokyo Ghoul V, but I've been more so saying, because, well, not just because I think it's a cool title, but I also think for some reason V's not, like, the V organization is not only going to play a part, but I also feel like that's gonna hold like a lot of weight towards Kaneki. That whole discussion is gonna be saved for the very end, because there's a lot I want to talk about when it comes to just part 3 in and of itself. So, and like I've been doing recently, that's just a little preview for what's gonna come later on in the podcast. So we are going to jump straight in to the chapter. And the color page is actually, in a way, very symbolic. It kind of, I don't want to say spoil, it's not in that, but it definitely does hint at a lot of things that occur within the chapter, because in the color page, you have Kaneki there, just, he's not, like, confused. I don't know what the right word is, but basically you have the word saying the dying colors of an iridescent world, which is going to be kind of symbolic as to what's going to be happening within the chapters. But can we just say this right now? The way this chapter opens up, I mean, everybody was confused. Like, you have like this big tournament-esque thing set up. Like it's like on some Yu Yu Hakusho, like some tuning exams. I don't know about the World Martial Arts. Definitely not that. But dark tournament style, sure, maybe. But you've got that. You got like the tuning exams esque thing, or and this to me is the biggest one. Hunter x Hunter. If you guys don't know why I'm saying that, little text in the corner says the strongest X the strongest. What is that hinting towards? Like, what kind of homage is that heading towards? Hunter x Hunter, right? That's kind of it. But yeah, and I just love how this whole page is kind of, again, is like set up like as like this big tournament ordeal where you have Kaneki on one end, like in like the red corner, as the one-eyed king, and then you have Susie as like the new Reaper, and they're like about to go in, and more so you got like everyone's reaction there too, like trying to like debating on like, all right, like how things are gonna be going. You got Nishiki over here just going like, so he's up against Susie, huh? To be honest, I can't say how this will go. And then I'm gonna assume you've got Banjo over there saying go. Besides, that bastard's got a personalized version of Adata on, even with Kaneki's Kagane. With Tsukiyama saying he'll win. Go get him. Kill him. That's the kind of guy Kaneki is. And then you got Kaneki saying, I'm not going to hold back Juzo. And then you have Juzo saying, I have things I need to protect too. Hai saying, no, it's Ken Kaneki, isn't it? And then you got Toka. Now again, like I said, this whole first page, feels like a complete shonen-esque type of situation. And you've got Toka kind of being I don't want to say the typical shonen female protagonist, but she putting her arms together, praying Kaneki to win. And then you've got Kaneki thinking, Toga, everyone, this is the only way humans and ghouls will ever be able to live alongside each other. Here I go, I'm not going to lose. That's it. Basically ended up itself as just the first page. And again, like I said before, it was actually very amusing, and I think it was actually very creative too. But Sparta, what was your thoughts on the first page of 143, as it says, because it's called Tokyo Ghoul Ultimate Fighter 143, Kaneki dies, in a sense.
Yeah. For whatever reason, there was like this meme. I want to say it's meme, but it seems like it is. That people has been circulating around talking about like, oh, what's the I can't wait for a tournament art for this series. I'm like, what tournament art? This series doesn't do that. And then you look at the other series do that, does that, and then they're like, oh, I can't wait for like a tutor exam, hunter exam, the autumn election, the heroes one. They just pile up all this exams, tournaments, whatever. So long as those whole brackets of those King of the Hill bracket style, like, 8-man, only one will be the victory, whatever, some crap. And it's just funny because I'm looking at this first page and I'm thinking to myself, Ishida is truly aware of us, aren't he? Because he knows that we have been making fun of this idea of like this tournament art. So he decided, you know what? I should just poke fun of the shonen trope. And the shonen trope is to always have a tournament. I mean, even the newer series is about to have a tournament in some sort of sense. It's a little different, but it's still a tournament, which is hilarious because shonen can't break that mold. It's like trying to tell a battle shonen, hey, you can't have a character that does a meteorite for its ability. It's like telling them that because somebody's going to do that. It's like a norm. It's like a religion to do that. I don't know why. So with this first page, it's hilarious because he's making fun of how the tournament arts works. He makes fun of how it's so spectacular, how it's so abundantly cliche, and he knows it. And he does that whole, like the Toka one was the most evident one because it was like it's such a cliche thing you've seen from every single female main character, love interest, whatever. It's always been like that. And it's just funny because it's the imagery that you always see, and now it's being done in an official manga that is Tokyo Ghoul. I mean, yeah, you can see a lot of other series that make parody of it, but the way how this is dressed is like similar to that. Only this one is just not even hiding it, or it's trying not to be that stand out to say like, oh, we're making fun of them. It's just like, you know, it's think it's like One Punch Man. One Punch Man is pretty much like a shonen being making fun of, but it's not being too obvious, or it's not being too elaborate by saying, hey, look, we are making fun of them. It's more like, see, we're gelling in this so well that you don't even know that we're making fun of them in the first place. So when I look at his first page, it's so hilarious just to see how like the format, the tournament stage, even the arena looks straight off from Dragon Ball or Hunter x Hunter in this case as well. It's just so damn funny. The quotes, the lines is so cliche, and it just makes it very fun. And then I guess we get to the next page, which is my favorite part.
Right. And I mean, also, it's no surprise that also that Suishida is like a fan of Togashi, given, like how, I don't know how long ago it was, but didn't they have like an interview with one another?
It was last year, I believe.
Yeah, that one, yeah.
Yeah,
and that one, and throughout the interview, like you could tell like how much of a big fan Ishida was of Togashi. So I guess in a way, this is kind of like him implementing his like love for, not in a way, I guess in a way for Togashi in a way, because because Togashi did do Yu Yu Hakusho and Hiatus X Hiatus. Oh, I'm sorry, Hunter x Hunter. I love Hunter x Hunter. I love Hunter x Hunter, but let's be honest. It's going to be a while before we see that series end. It's going to be a long time.
I'm still counting on him. Remember, he did say, oh, I'll be back before the end of the year. We're still in October.
Due to noodles. Due to some noodles. But getting back on track. So, next page. And
my absolute favorite.
I love this next page because, okay, here's the thing. There's several ways that you could troll the readers, okay? There's several ways you could do that with your fans. You got the troll where you're like, what the fuck? Like, hold on. What is this shit? Like, this is horrible. You got the trolling where you're like, okay, like, it's a dick move, but it's like a good dick move. And then you get the trolling where you're like, okay, you know what? I understand how the fans are going to react. I'm going to implement how they're going to react into my story. And Ishida does that. And it's like, okay, yeah, you get it. It's trolling, but it's just done so brilliantly because you see all these reactions. And I bet you one of these quotes comes from the fan base. I can already say that 100%. And that's what makes this page amusing because, again, in a way, the first page does correlate to this page because, again, we have the very same page where Kaneki, in a sense, got scarred for life. Only it's like, what? It's actually cool because you have, like, all these quotes. Like, oh, no, Kaneki's lost. Looks like he messed up again. It was all in vain. Why are you always like this? Like, the quotes people mentioned throughout the comments and kind of like the amount of frustration and rage they had when it came to the previous chapter. And like I said before, Ishida did that brilliantly. But Sparda, want to give your little input on it?
Oh boy. I'm being reminded back into the Evangelion days because I remember when Evangelion, when it ended, the first original series, the first TV series, when it ended, a lot of people, from what I heard, and it's true story, that they blackmailed the guy. They hated him. They wanted to kill him because they see this like a very cult religion, I guess. I don't even know if that's still a thing right now. It wouldn't surprise me it is. So, when you see the movie, you see the Evangelion. In the movie, he actually just straight up posts the actual image of the blackmail that he received from the fans as just mocking the hell out of them, as well as acknowledging at the same time. And now with Tokyo Ghoul, it pretty much does the same thing. It pretty much mocked the fans and acknowledged them at the same time because it seems like it only tells you that Ishida is very full aware that he has been writing the way he does, and the way he writes, it seems like something that people will actually go irate on. Like, for example, the whole why Kaneki got defeated like that. We got an off screen, and the fact that he just got defeated, after being the one-eyed king, the one that take down Arnima, even though there's a little bit more to that, but whatever. How he got defeated. So he kind of pretty much poke fun of that with every different type of quote, whether they are exact same thing, if not very close to it, which is good enough because again, he is aware how people will react. He is aware what he's doing. He is aware how they're supposed to be done this way in the first place. Like he got everybody into his trap. The trap of hating the direction of how Kaneki just absolutely just lost like that, even though he didn't really lose in an absolute way. It's really like he got close. It's just that he was going against two strong, powerful guys. With one of them were playing the bait. With one of them was just pretty much like, hey, I'm the target. You could strike me all you want. But that guy who's going to take you down is the stronger guy, and he's going to be healthy as hell. Me, I'm just going to take a lot of bullet. And it's just so hilarious to see all these comments because it's something that we actually would have react. I didn't react that way, but I did in fact see a lot of people react the way how this whole entire page was reacting. It's hilarious.
It really is. And again, like that see, like it's stuff like this that really sets Ishida apart from like other mangaka. Like, okay, I think the closest thing I could kind of see is with the mangaka of Gintama, because I know Gintama likes to play around with this kind of stuff too. But even then, I feel like like Ishida kind of goes on a whole different level than what Sarachi's able to do. But maybe that's just me. That I'm also still catching up on Gintama, so there's still that.
Right, that's true. But the thing is, like Gintama is like does the whole fourth wall breaking. This one doesn't do the fourth wall. It's pretty much it sneaks in the fourth wall breaking without really breaking the wall, because it's like I'm gonna use the mental state of a person's mind, because this whole thing was in the mind of Kaneki, so to say. It's like it has that dark humor tone, and it's just funny because it's just how it's like it felt like it was being a parody of itself, but at the same time it was still taken into the same world without really breaking into the fourth wall. So it's not like we just shift the entire tone, or more like breaking the whole tone of the series itself. It's like, oh, now we become a parody series. It's like, well, no, it's actually part of the whole game. It's pretty much that weird humor that Ishida has been doing since the dawn of time, and this is no exception.
That's actually a pretty good way to put it. Yes, me. So, speaking about that, we go to the next page, and again, I know where the confusion is. I was one of them. I see this, like, I see Heise. I'm like, wait, hold on. Didn't you disappear after Kaneki took over during the fight against Ed? I'm like, wait, hold on. What happened? Like, because I remember it was like, oh, yeah, Heise, sleep. Let me come back. I'm like, okay, like, she got real with that stuff. So when I see this, I'm like, well, hold on, this is flashback. Because Heise's there, he's like, Juzo, oh, this is like old, like not old school, but like beginning re. This is like definitely beginning re stuff. I remember this. Like, Juzo comes in to Heise, and I think he takes like candy out of his pockets because Juzo's like crazy obsessed with candy. But then I see this. I see a Kagane stabbing through Juzo. I'm like, wait, hold on. What just happened? Like, is that like a memory alteration thing? Because I know that's something Kaneki's usually known for doing. So I'm like, well, hold on. Is this like a what if situation? Like, well, what if this happened? Because then you get Hanbi saying, like, what? You got Uri, the piece of shit known as Uri. Because this is, again, like, early Tokyo Ghoul, and Mutsuki. You're like, wait, rank 1 Sasuke? And you got, Sasuke like, with, I'm assuming it's Mutsuki saying, Sensei, what was that? And he's like, looks like I killed him. Like, no reaction whatever. He's like, yep, looks like I killed him.
That I
And
did.
then see, and this is where, and to me, this was like the big highlight of the chapter. Like, I know people are talking a lot about like what happened like towards the very end, but to me, this whole section of the chapter was special. It really was, because we not only get to see Heise after such a long time, we see all the personalities of Ken Kaneki. We see Heise Sasaki. We see, I'm going to assume it's Jason Kaneki. Then we got Kaneki, or Black Reaper Kaneki. This dude's hilarious. Let me just say that right now. I love this dude. Okay, because this dude, when he showed up, again, during the fight against Seto, he was brutal. He was ruthless. He was terrifying. Suicidal, sure. Like, during the time when he was saving Hinami during the Coachella arc. But this dude, right now, like, what's happening right over here is priceless. Because what happens in this page is Sasuke's like essentially like looking over this whole thing, and he's like, "So yeah, how does that sound?" And you got Ken Kaneki. Again, I'm going to assume it's Jason Kaneki or One Eye King saying looks good, and you got again Heise Sasuke Associate Special Class, or Black Reaper Kaneki saying, "Are you fucking kidding me?" With the eye patch Kaneki, OG Kaneki saying, "It's not your fault, Juzo, it's mine." And the two kids, which was essentially the human Kaneki and the ghoul Kaneki. Like, how sad. And then you got a 240. Again, the Kaneki that was in prison, like, when after Tokyo Ghoul Re, but before Re. Like that Kaneki. And this dude's crying, and then you got... You got Black Reaper saying, "Shut up, 240, get back to Coachella."
Oh man.
Like, this dude is cynical.
I always like that design of his. Sucks that he only lasted for an arc. Now I think about it. I said it's sad that he lasted only for an arc. The more I look at this chapter, the more I'm like, damn, he should have stuck by, because I actually like this kind of persona.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, this guy was really ruthless, but damn, he was not joking. He was like, he's telling it as it is. He was being straight. He was being like 100% real on and all the Kanekis, because every other Kanekis we always think about like, maybe I should have done this way, or maybe I shouldn't even escape this point. But like, no, maybe you should just move on and accept that, because it's over. It's to deal with that shit.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. Like, when Black Reaper Kaneki again, when we go back to Shirazu, and when Uri mentioned that, he's like, "No, it's not my fault. You were just weak."
That surprised me. Yeah, like it's funny because like I understand that Uri should not be talking to Kaneki like, "Oh, well, like how the hell that's my fault? It's your fault for that you let Shirazu die because you're just weak. That's your fault." So in this case, you got the other Kaneki is like, actually, you should not be putting the blame. What's wrong with you? You know what I mean? So it's like, it's crazy because it's like you got these multiple Kanekis and they all have this different persona. It almost made it feel like that Kaneki doesn't really have one mindset. It's like there's like it kind of has that portrayal of like there's so many different people inside of his head, rather than like it's just one person with one mindset at the end of that. Yet it still portrays it that he is the same guy, especially by the end. But going when you start from the beginning, it's like, damn, he got like so many different person. You might as well call him like a guy who has multiple personality, or just have the fact that he has no identity. That I don't even know what he's supposed to be like right now. What he's supposed to be, Kaneki, the Black Reaper, 240. Who is he supposed to be? Who is he now? What is he now? So yeah, it's just mind-boggling. It's very entertaining because you get to see a lot of different viewpoint, a lot of different opinion, a lot of different persona just dealing with each other. And they all have their own stance, they have their own righteousness. It's like, oh, I really enjoy being with the Q Squad. I didn't mind messing up the whole Ateku raid I didn't mind I go out there and, end up dying and then meet the family of human. I didn't mind that. And he's like, yeah, but around the time where Shirazu died, that was your fault. Now, if you wasn't part of the family, he wouldn't even die. He probably would have been alive right now. It's like, wow, that's pretty messed up. You didn't have to say it like that.
It really is.
It's like, geez, you don't have to even say like that. It's just like, and then and you want to put a blame on somebody. If somebody blames you, take it. That's because if it is your fault, then it is your fault. I'm like, damn. What can I even say?
I know, like thinking back to that stuff, it's like shit. It's still crazy. Like it's like, okay, yeah, like I know that was like such a long time ago, but you gotta remember, like by that point, you're like, whoa, like did that shit really just happen?
Yeah.
But from there, Heise's kind of like just thinking to himself, like, so then what should we have done? And we have like all the well, how many Kanekis are there? Let me check real quick, because you got Heise, you got
like 5 or 6, I think.
Let me check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, at least 7 or 8. Well, and that's if we're counting the Kaneki that's just like lying there on the ground, no arms and legs. So actually, well, that's the body though. So I don't know if I would make that one count. But what's interesting about this page, especially with that part, each of them have their own chairs. I just noticed that.
Huh, that is true. And the one that's standing up is and the one that have empty chairs are the one that's standing up right now.
Like the other ones are the ones that are sitting don't have one. Nope.
That's true. Should have thought of that.
Oh
but
yeah.
Let me see.
Go on.
Well, no, there's actually one interesting point, but I should wait until we get to the end of that whole segment. Because I mean, it's something that everybody should have realized by now. So, yeah.
Yeah, we can do that. From there, again, Black Reaper's talking. He's like, at the end of the day, it's all your fault, isn't it? Why'd you go back by yourself? And, like, that's actually a good point. Because I think this is something we mentioned last week. Or not, well, not last week, but, like, in the last podcast. Of, like, Kaneki going by himself and that being, like, his big fatal flaw. And, the Black Reaper just pointed that out to him. He's like, you could have gone with the others, but what did you do? You just went by yourself. Like, why didn't you go for backup? And you've got the one-eyed King Kaneki saying, I mean, I was with a huge squad. I can't just say, hey, guys, I have this bad feeling. Let's all turn around. And, yo, like, remember the scene with Woody? Like that we brought up earlier. Same thing gets brought up over here with the Black Reaper. He's like, it's your fault for being weak, and the one-eyed King Kaneki is, yeah, you're right, but, and this is where Heise starts talking in. Doesn't matter how strong you might be, Mr. King. 2 opponents both wearing Adatas might pose a little trouble now. Then you have the one-eyed King saying, and back then with Amon, he got totally destroyed too, huh? And then OG Kaneki, like with the eye patch and everything. Now he's not holding his, because I know a lot of people are kind of mistaking him for putting his hand over his chin, but he's just kind of just putting it on his cheek. So that's not exactly him lying. You can kind of interpret that though. But he's saying, what about the stopgap squad? If something weird was going on at the base, Itami and the others should have sent some sort of transmission, right? We don't have any transmission. I mean, it was an ambush. Did the stopgap squad get killed? No way. And you see, here's the thing. Speaking about putting hand over chin, what is the Black Reaper doing while he's talking right now? Isn't he doing what the other Kanekis usually do? He's putting his hand over his chin too, as he's saying, if I took the rest of GOAT with me, do you think we would have won? Tell me, Four Eyes. Well, okay, that's OG Kaneki saying, but again, with the Black Reaper putting his hand over his chin, he's saying, at the very least, things wouldn't have ended up like this. No eye patch. So, right there, like with his gesture, That's obviously a lie. But what about you, Sparta?
Um, didn't think of that. It's hard to say if he really was like that, doing what he always does when it comes to hiding something that's really the truth behind his words. But the idea is that everybody has their own different reflection. If they would have done this path, or this is right, or this is wrong, or they should have done it differently, or maybe they should have just not think too hard about it. Like for him, he'd be like, if I, maybe if I did take them, it would have ended like this. And then he's the one that actually agrees with Furuta. When it comes to most, he end up choosing himself alone because of that. The worst possible happens. It's like he's being more straightforward and more truth about what he sees, instead of like how people be like, well, if we could have done that way, we probably would have done it better, right? We couldn't have that easy different, right? It's like they're more question. Him is more like, his is more like no shit Sherlock kind of look or kind of way he's approaching to these other Kaneki, especially how he's like, hey, Furuta got us right in the corner. It's not like everybody's trying to deny it. He really is telling us the truth as it is.
Point, if
that's what I was. That's the one I was looking for. Like he's on the point. He's pretty much straight up tells you as it is. It's not anything else. It's not tried to what's that word I'm looking for? Like damn it. Like how like if how like PRs, if something major happened, like, oh, what a controversial story, and then the PR comes in and they always like twist the words around.
Manipulation. I think that's what it is, right?
It's something like that. It's basically like,
I know what you're talking about, but I know it's some form of manipulation. I can't figure out what the right word is, but yeah.
Right. It's like kind of like saying you're dodging the question, but yeah, it's like you're answering the question, yet you're dodging it. I can't find the right word for it. But basically, a lot of Kanekis outside of him does that way. And he just tells you as it is. Everyone else is always like these kind of questions, like, maybe if we would have done this way, maybe we would have done that way. But him is like, hey, Furuta was right. He was the one that tells us, hey, we always go out by ourselves. So if we did go with the group, it could have been different. It could have been, right?
It really could have.
Because as we always do the same thing, we only get the worst. That's what he's telling. That's what he's telling everybody as it is. It's like, yeah, he's right. Every time we do it the way we always do, which is the solo act, we always get the worst outcome.
I mean, it was evident already with the last chapter.
Exactly.
And like, yeah, that's the thing. He even brings it up here. It's like, yeah, like the worst results of like what happened at the Ontega battle in the 20th Ward. I just want to say right now, 240's like crying throughout this whole thing. And I like how like OG Kaneki is like trying to like, it's okay, calm down.
but going back what I was saying about the Black Review, even if you look at the first panel in that same very page, even that in there, it's like at the end of the day, it's all your fault, isn't it? Why you go back by yourself? It's like, again, he's not there's no sugarcoating. He doesn't sugarcoat it. He pretty much tells you that if it's your fault, it's your fault. Stop acting like, oh, it's their fault because they didn't follow me, or it's their fault because, I don't know, I'm just trying to find different reasons to hate on them or just blame on them, or the fact that it's like, oh, okay, it can't be my fault. Granted, I have the chance to say, hey, guys, let's go work together and go back to 24 War and stop this crazy madness. Then it's your fault. It's kind of like, it almost reminds me of that joke. It reminds me of that joke, which is supposed to be a parody of a lot of trope, which ends up being a ridiculous one, but they obviously is making fun of it. But the whole, oh, I know that feeling. You do? Yeah. The time of loneliness is really sad. In my flashback days, there was a festival with children and parents going together in a picnic. So when that day come, I didn't tell my parents that the day of picnic was on Friday. So one Friday, I was alone. It was the saddest day of my life. It's supposed to tell you like, oh, my parents didn't come because they hated me. But how is their fault? It's like, it's your fault because you didn't tell them at all. So it's a parody. But but again, going back to this Tokyo Ghoul chapter, is like that. It's like, well, whose fault is that? It's your fault in the end, no matter what you say.
And again, that's something that's been established with the Black Reaper since day one. The moment he showed up. So, and again, like that's something that just continues to stick with him. And even going to a point where it gets brought up, like in the Inteku battle, what exactly did my participation even bring about? Which I'm gonna assume this was a one-eyed king Kaneki, right?
The one that said that line?
Yeah, I'm gonna assume it's that one.
Which part again? How you said it? I'm trying.
It was on. It's beginning of page 10. It's like the Anteku battle. What exactly did my participation even bring about? Who benefited? I'm gonna assume that's the one-eyed king personality talking, unless I'm getting that mixed up with somebody with another personality.
Or hold on, let's see. Could be the okay. I'm trying to figure out which Kaneki is still here.
You're right.
Give me a second. It might be the Kaneki that says looks good in the very beginning.
Looks good.
That could be the Kaneki before the Teku raid, before the end of the Teku raid.
Jason Kaneki. Okay.
Yes, that one.
That's what it seems like. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that. Like the fact, look at that. You look at the Black Reaper again. He's like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Again, this guy is ruthless, but he's honest.
He's being honest. Like there's no sugarcoating behind it. He's actually on point saying, "Yo, look, I'm not gonna warp reality. I'm gonna stick to like, yeah, this is what happened."
Yes. This guy.
No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Somebody make a spin-off series because they did have a 6 months later time gap. So we could use those 6-month time gap for a spin-off series based on Black Reaper.
I would love to see a Black Reaper. As ruthless as it may be, it would be interesting to see.
Yeah. I mean, that guy loves kicking chairs as well. So say all your prayers to all those chairs who gets kicked.
Ishida, if you're listening to this, which I highly doubt you are, but do that, please. That'd be amazing. And you wouldn't regret it. Not one bit.
No. I'll definitely buy a day one in a volume.
Yep. Even if it's just one volume, I'll be like, fine.
It's good enough for me.
And you could title it Black Reaper. You could easily do that.
Yeah, call it Tokyo Ghoul Reaper. I don't know. Something.
Tokyo Ghoul. I could see that, actually. But getting back to the chapter. So, to get in the end, the manager died. Well, okay, now, and I know a lot of people were confused about it. It's like, wait, the manager, like, Yoshimura died? No. To Kaneki, he did because he doesn't know that Eto captured him.
Exactly.
Like, Kuzon is still stuck in a tube somewhere. He needs to break free at some point.
Well, first you gotta feed him before breaking free, unless you'd be like Rize, because Rize was out of control when she broke free.
That's a good point. That's actually a very good point.
So, yeah, recommend to do that first.
Get him some food. And I'm not talking about some fast food stuff like Taco Bell and McDonald's. That's not going to work.
I don't think a cup of coffee would do too. No.
Nope. Even if it's Starbucks, even if you have the best quality coffee, it's not going to work on this guy.
No.
Nope. Not one bit. And my friends, and Taku was destroyed, and my friends were scattered into the winds. If I had just been able to listen and run away with everyone else, which it's a good point, I might have ended up working at the new cafe with Yomo and the others. And see, he brings up a good point about that. But I'm kind of curious, like, how long would that last? You think that would last a lifetime, or do you think there would come a point where it would end up, like, causing them to split up again?
That's, it's those what if question that's really, truthfully hard to really speculate. But you know, you gotta look at what happened, reality, against what could have happened if one went to this direction. You look at what happened in reality, such as the auction radar, the whole Tsukiyama, the whole Rose investigation arc, whatever they want to call it. And then you got the Coachella and the Root Island arc. Those would have been altered heavily, or they would not happen at all, or maybe they would happen, but more casualty will come about for a different type of characters, I guess. You could say like, okay, in an auction radar, maybe with the Q squad didn't get the good lessons, they will probably die. You know, they probably would be like Uri probably would have died a long time ago. Muski would have probably gone maniac much earlier. Psycho would have been just doing nothing at all. Never got encouraged because she was lazy. I don't know. It's really hard to say because they need a role model, and Sasaki was placed for that.
Right.
So, but as if Kaneki was just to stay at well, not Teku Ray, but go to with the one they open up eventually, how would have been like, well, this again, you're gonna have a lot of different casualties in order. Like again, the Q squad would have been eliminated probably so early as the auction radar. And with Kaneki, maybe his involvement will come about much earlier or much later. I can't really say. Eventually, something bad will always come to him. It's never going to be 100% peace.
No, it isn't. Not one bit. I mean, could it happen? Sure, but how long can that maintain?
Exactly.
Because at some point, it is gonna like come to the surface. It's funny that we bring up Sasuke because he actually gets a chance to talk about this. He was like, "But I'm lonely." He actually brings up a pretty good point because he says, "You guys are all Ken Kaneki. You don't understand how I felt. I'm glad I got to meet the Quinks. Even if I was just playing house, they are my precious kids. Just as if we were real family. You all were saved by them, you know." And you know what? Like thinking back on it, I actually did get a little bit emotional, like hearing that stuff from Heiser because yes, I know that like that stuff in the beginning of Tokyo Ghoul was kind of slow. But when you really reflect on it, especially right now with like how Heise feels, like it actually resonates really well with like with him trying to get his point across. But you want to share your inputs on that, Sparta?
You know, I wish I comment more on Hase back in my review because when I look back at this chapter again, it was pretty emotional because he is the only Kaneki, so to say, that actually isn't Kaneki. He has his own identity, and he's like the closest you could say a separate identity, a separate persona, a completely different character. You could say, like everyone in here are like, yeah, they have a different personality, but they under the same name, under the same identity called Kaneki.
And there's always like that certain piece within them that demonstrates him as Kaneki.
Right. And this Kaneki was supposed to be, you know, like a brand new person, like a renewal, like a rebirth, reincarnation. So, and it could have gone that way. I mean, when you look at the beginning, it was rather sad when he's trying to figure out the more about his character, but at the same time, he was very frightened that he has a different persona back then, somebody that he probably do not agree or do not want to go back on it. And the whole him trying to find out who is he or what he was back then, and it was always classified. And then he's asking a question like, who is he? And then nobody wants to answer. And then he cries out because he feels like his life is not really his. So it's kind of sad that this Kaneki is the one that has the most interactive as a different person. And it is very telling because like every other Kaneki you've seen back then, like, you know, when they change the persona, they just change because it's a breaking point. And it's like, it reflects that. But with Sasaki, it has a chapter that pretty much have this farewell, like a single chapter of a farewell for Sasaki, because it was that monumental how much of that character was actually feeling like a separate person. It actually feels like a brand new character. But then he has to go back to Kaneki because, well, that's who he always has been. So he has to delete Sasaki, and Kaneki makes a return, which is cool and all. But it's pretty sad because he was feeling like a new person. He was feeling like a person. He was feeling like somebody that he feels like, how every normal human are. It's not like, oh, I'm borrowing this person named Kaneki, but hey, he's dead. I changed my birth certificate, so who cares? It's not even like that. It was like, it felt like he was like, oh yeah, I had a dad, a mom. They're both non-existent because I don't know. My story told me I don't have them anymore. But yeah, I'm a different guy. I'm not related to anybody in terms of like who I was beforehand. So yeah, looking back, I think this one was really actually pretty sad, just because he was the closest one that's trying to be a separate person, but it's still Kaneki.
I mean, in a way, you could say Heise was kind of like the person that Kaneki always wanted to be.
Right. He's supposed to be the human side of Kaneki.
Yeah, and like in a way, you could say that's the direction he wanted to go in. But it's like I've been saying, like there comes a point where you're gonna have like that inner turmoil within you, like come out, and unfortunately, that's what happened with Sasaki. And I mean, you know what? Like even looking back on it, it kind of sucks. It really does suck for him. At the same time, this is where the Black Reaper starts talking, and he does bring up a valid point over here because he says, "If you didn't meet them, Shirazu wouldn't have died. It's cause you weren't powerful enough." Again, cynical, funny, but on point.
Ouch.
Definitely on point.
Yeah, he is.
Black Reaper, everybody. Black Reaper.
This guy was not taking no mercy at
Nope.
all.
Nope.
But going back to Sasaki, again, felt like such a separate guy. Even in the next page, he would have been just satisfied if he just lived the same way, rather than be like, oh, I remember there's this guy named Kaneki. He was in my mind, and he was telling me, oh, I want to protect those people. I need to protect them. And because of that, that's where his life changed. And if anything, if he ignored that, maybe, just maybe, he would have kept being with the humans. I don't know. Yeah, but it seems like that was the case. That was like the downfall, if anything, when he decided to say, hey, this little boy named Kaneki, I'll help you. I'll help you to find your identity. I'll help your friends too.
That's where the downward spiral began, for Sasuke at least. Chapter itself, continuing forward, you got. I'm gonna say, wait, is this still Black Reaper, or is this Jason Kaneki talking now? If you were
which part?
If you were by their side during the road, okay, no, that's Black Reaper talking still. Just to double check. So yeah, if you were standing by their, wait, is it? I'm pretty sure. Hold on. If you were by their side during the road,
that is him. That is him.
Okay.
Because if you follow up at the bottom panel, it lines up perfectly.
Okay, yeah. If you were by their side during the Rosewall operation, you would have been able to protect him, no? Instead, Udi and the others were the ones by his side. Again, this guy's on point. And thus you have... Is this Heise talking, or is this... No. I see who's talking now. It's Jason Kaneki, or One-Eyed King Kaneki. It's not their fault. Don't try to push this off onto them. And this dude, the Black Reaper, kicks a chair. He's like, "You're me too, aren't you?" It's like, how dare you sit on that chair and don't take this out on others. Again, I love this persona.
Yeah. Guys hates chairs.
At least we know how things would have been running if he was the king. I mean, imagine if that's what happened.
My goodness.
You know, and also just speaking about what you mentioned about Heise, like this next page, he meant it's like, yeah, I would have just been satisfied living with everyone in the chateau and being able to work with Akira and Arima, who unfortunately was gonna die at some point. I hate saying that, but given what we know about his condition, given that he has the RIP treatment as of now, well, permanent RIP treatment, mind you, it sucks. Because again, you know at some point it was going to happen. And even then, he even says, but along the way, each of you have tried to protect someone. So I think we shouldn't. So I think we shouldn't have been able to live like that forever. And okay, given who's talking, it's OG Kaneki, the one with the eye patch, and thus Black Reaper Kaneki, Jason Kaneki / One King Kaneki are kind of dead silent. They're like, huh. But where? Where did it all go wrong? Why'd we lose? Let's review one more time. Moving forward a little. What about Root Island? Ever since then, Mutsuki's been a little off. And I say in quotations, a little off.
Jeez, what gives you that idea?
A little, he says.
I'm not sure how little is considered not sure how little is considered to you these days.
Seriously. I don't like a Uri type of one. It's like in quotes, a little. If I'd properly noticed that the goat base wouldn't, and it's like wait a second. Well, what about Coachella? Would you have just been fine letting Hinami die? Yeah, good point. That's just it. I already know this is Black Reaper talking. He's like, you can't save everyone. Which, you know, as savage as that is, as ruthless as that sounds, he is on point. You just can't. Like, people are gonna die. And it sucks, but you have to accept that. Thus, we have a little bit of the fight. So this at least calms down some of the fans going like, oh, we skipped the fight. No, we see a little bit of it. Given that it's only 2-3 panels. So at least be satisfied you're getting something. Because at least with this we find out that it is Hanbi with the little rip-off mask from Halo Reach that I mentioned the other time. Yeah. He was the reason as to why the fight turned out the way it did. Because if Juzo was alone, Kaneki would have probably had a chance. But the fact that Hanbi sacrificed himself only to get in the way, not only was it effective, but it was like a very shrewd move. And it's like, okay, let's just kill Abara. And again, Black Reaper's big point. Like I said, it's already over, damn it. And poor OG Kaneki. It's okay. It's like, don't fight. It's like just trying to calm down the situation. Like it's nice. Feel bad for him.
Seriously,
I really do. And even then, you get like the one-eyed King Kaneki just saying like, "Yeah, quit shouting loudness. Doesn't solve anything. Quit it with all that maybe shit. Look at reality, you fucking prick." Shit. It's like looking at reality, trying to play the big shot. Are we fine? Here's the reality. Our arms and legs are gone. We can't regenerate them. And the ghouls in our organization are going to get slaughtered too. A person important to us is going to be killed soon. Not just the ones in our organization. Fortis is going to make sure all the ghouls in the world die. Black Reaper again is on point. I still think we should have decided everything with a tournament. The goddamn tournament. Shit. My God. I mean, this. I mean, if we're gonna get a tournament, you better damn hope it's the dark tournament. That's what you gotta hope. That's really what you
gotta. Oh man, they should do a tournament arc just for the hell of it.
They really should.
Forget part 3. I demand a tournament arc for the first arc. then we're talking.
That'd be amusing. Really amusing to see.
Seriously.
And it's funny because when the tournament thing's brought up, like Black Reaper's like, you would have lost the tournament too. It's
Wait,
like
you
I vote
lose?
tournament. He's like, I don't get you. You would have got your ass kicked.
What difference does it make? You're gonna lose eventually. You're gonna lose the same way, if not worse.
Seriously. He's like, hey, who cares? And he's like, shut up, shut up. It's like, let's calm down. Why? The reality will break. You all. So you're trying to blend it with all these fantastical imaginings. Who's actually the one not looking at reality? Four Eyes. What are you going to get by running away from reality? That's what I'm trying to say. What are you going to get by confronting? And again, this is mainly between One-Eyed King Kaneki / Jason Kaneki versus the Black Reaper. And Sasuke's the one who's there just like saying, hey, calm down. Calm down, calm down. Then we get to the next page, and this silhouette, well, it's not a silhouette per se. It's a sketch. And I know it can look a little incomplete, but I'm convinced that this was drawn purposely.
Of course.
Yeah,
That's
straight up. Like I can already tell like this was drawn purposely because you got Kaneki saying, I guess I won't get to see Toka again. And this is kind of where he's kind of just thinking to himself, like, it's like, am I going to die? I see. Goodbye. No. I don't get it. I don't get it. Well, why did it turn out like this? Why'd I want to see Toka again? This is where all the Kanekis start to grow on one topic, one subject, and it's Toka. It's strictly just Toka. Because they're thinking about Toka, they're trying to think of the name. They haven't decided on the name yet. What I find amusing about this whole thing, Toka's really bad at Japanese, and I actually pointed that out at one point.
he did.
So yeah, like she might give it a weird name.
But you gotta keep in mind, we did have a bird that was called Loser, didn't we?
I think so.
Yeah, that would have come on her too if it comes to name in a Japanese term. No.
It's okay. We can have Toka name it. Like no.
Like hell no. What are you talking about?
No. I trust Yomo. Trust Yomo. I don't trust Hinami. Shu. Ooh, I don't even know how. I'm kind of curious what kind of name he would have come up with. I put my bets on Nishiki. Nishiki won't name the child.
You probably curse. Let's have a swear name for a name.
Swear name for. I thought of a few, but who knows? But yeah, we got all that going on, and this is actually kind of interesting because we have the checkerboards all there. It's like I can't move a finger or a toe, but like you see, and it's interesting because only the white spaces are cracking throughout this whole thing. And it's only the white spaces that's like where the darkness is like coming out from, well, or something. Some malice presence is like rising out from below. It's like, but my head's still attached. I'm pretty sure this is Kaneki talking. My torso too. Can I breathe? Yep. How about a bite and a crawl? And again, as this is going, like it's just swelling up. Thus, you have all the Kanekis. Like, but that's a human, and it's just okay. Obviously, referring to Hajime. And then you get Jason Kaneki just saying, "Who cares? No mercy. We must completely eliminate them." And then you got Kaneki, and whoo, this one takes me back because this is the one that got his eye stabbed out. The things in our way, everything around us, everyone else. Then you get the Black Reaper. Can you bend the wills that's brought you here? If I must, can you kill? I will kill. And then you got the One-Eyed King personality, who started to cry, thinking about Hide, who found his resolve. He's like, what's most important to you now? You know, don't you? I've always known, haven't I? And yo, this page, or this panel to be precise, That face. Shit. That face, because you got Kaneki saying, I won't pull back, I will press forward like a centipede. Let that sink in, everyone. I won't pull back, I will press forward like a centipede. And when I read that, I'm like, yo, holy shit. I'm like, wait, is this what that centipede was referring to? The one that was crawling? Like, if this is what it was, oh, shit. I'm speechless. I was like, whoa. Okay. Like this. Again, speechless as hell, but Sparda, do you want to share your input on this?
Oh boy, where to begin? Okay, first of all, yeah, that the checkerboarding spot, that was like very telling because again, Kaneki was really try his damn best to stay. I wouldn't say innocent because, of course, he killed Ghoul. You can't call it innocent if you kill Ghoul. But the point is, he wasn't going to break the mold of being like, I wouldn't say 100% bad, but more like 100% tainted with blood of human and Ghoul. He already got the blood of Ghoul, but he was not going to get his hand dirty with humans' blood. But this is the breaking point because this is everything that he has been learning from day one. That everything has always gone to shit. Everything has always messed him up. Everything has always changed his life, his persona, his identity, everything. And you know, the one thing that even though everybody was arguing, even though everybody has their own same different mindset of like, I like this path. This path, I don't like it. I wish I'd done this. Well, guess what? Get used to it because that's what happens. Get over it yourself. And then you got so many different characteristics, different approach. Oh, we could just kill the guy. Oh, we could just go a different path. Oh, you know, we could have killed him way back then when we was just normal friends instead of like, let's do it on the spot. It's so many different ideas that it just doesn't really compute together. But that image with Kaneki, that's like all sketch. It's like I can't find a, for the lack of better word. It's like purity, meaning it's like the embodiment of all Kaneki, because this is one thing that agrees with one idea, and that is want to meet Toka. That is one thing that every single Kanekis actually can relate. Is Toka, and that's true because you go all the way back into part one. You know, it's always associated with Toka. Like either love, friendship, whatever. It doesn't matter. The point is they all connects to that. Even Sasaki. Sasaki already had the huge crush with Toka back in the beginning of Tokyo Ghoul. So you already know
he's so
that.
pretty.
Yeah, exactly. You know, he was like being goofy, like, oh, she's so pretty. You know, you see him in the corner with the book. That's the image he was displaying. So you going back to this chapter, and you see everybody start to agree. When everybody starts to agree, then you know this is how Kaneki is still one person. It's still the same guy. Even with so many different minds, it's still the same guy because everybody can agree to one thing, and that's just that. And then you got the whole one thing to do left is to press forward because right now they're in a really tough situation. They're at the dying breath, or you know, not really dying breath, but they're in a situation that they are going to continue to lose everything they have been building on, everything they tried to protect. And you know, we really see plenty of hints. We really see a lot of subtleties with him, with his characters. He really lost a lot of people. He really lost a lot of things that he cared of. Now, there's also people that he still care, but there has to be that one thing that really keeps him steady, stable, and still feel like he has a future in his hand. Toka was always been highlighted from the time after they did their things at 125, but because of that, you got the whole reflection. Like, okay, I lost the first person that I could have saved, and that was like my little sister's mom. I failed to protect that. I failed to protect the two people I promised them that we could break free. I failed to protect Shirazu. I fail to protect Arima, even if he does want to, even he ends up killing himself, and he did that. But he didn't want him to die. And most importantly, he failed to protect Hide. Even though he's alive, he doesn't know still. So now the only thing he has left is Toka, because that's his love interest. So he lost the best friend, he lost a father figure, he lost he lost a lot of meaningful moments of his life. And Toka is the love interest. You can't go much lower than that in terms of like, if you lose this, it's like your whole life would just break apart. It's the same thing for a lot of other series. Even Berserk does that, where like if she wasn't around, Gus would not be like have this, I would say, tiny fate, but he is protecting her at all costs, even if she is technically brain dead. So with Kaneki in this case, now he's in this predicament because Toka is the embodiment of future that still can go, that still has this, like, oh, there's the future for Kaneki. So Toka can be the one. And it doesn't help the fact that she's pregnant. Maybe not. I don't know. But point is, she's having a baby, right? So that's like a future family. That's the future right there. Now she's the only motivation left. If she were to die, I don't even want to think what's going to happen, especially in the condition Kaneki is definitely thinking at this point. And then you have these imagery where everybody put their inputs about like, hey, we could fight. We could get our body back. We can win. We can protect her. And we could do that by getting food. But that's a human and a kid. And you really start to realize that he started to change more and more. And then the breaking point was that last panel with the I won't pull back. I will press forward like a centipede. That's when he completely changed. But what makes it interesting and what I love about it is how each panels are each of the breaking points of their character where they start to change drastically. You got the point when he becomes Shironeki. You got the point when he like a ghoul. You got the point when he died by Arima. You got the point when he finally wakened after being in Sasaki for so long. And then you got the point when he talked to Hide in his mind. Everything always, those are the breaking point that changes their character and it changes their persona. So now you got the last panel. It's again the same thing as all of those panels that you see up there. It's not purposely use them in order to say like, oh, those are the cool moments. Those are the cool, the highlighted moment. They're highlighted moments. They're not all cool moments. They're like, because I don't think I would say, oh, that's so cool that he lost his eyeball. It's not, that's not the approach. The approach is how each of them represent a breaking point in the changing path of his life. And now we got a new one, the whole pressing forward, no matter at what cost. As soon as he take a bite out of Hajime, you already get the idea. Everything he represented back then, gone.
Oh yeah, like straight up in an instant, because I'm not sure where I was about to get next, because he says like a centipede now, and then this dude bites into Hajime's face. And here's the thing, because I know people were talking about it. This is what he did to Hajime, right? And there's a theory going around of how much worse of a condition is Hide in. Whew, I don't even know, guys.
Yeah, that's a crazy theory, because you gotta remember, we don't know how, because it has been foreseen that whenever Kaneki gets hungry, he's uncontrollable. When it gets to the part, it's like get to the first bite. We never see how the first bite from Kaneki to Hide looks like.
No, we don't.
No, it could be on the throat because he can't talk. It could be on the face because he can't talk. It could be anywhere else because he can't talk. Whatever it is, he's the reason. Excuse me. Whatever it is, he's the reason that Hide cannot talk anymore. Unless he's trolling us, but I doubt that.
if that's a troll, I'm gonna be like, or I'll be a little pissed, but I'll be like, I mean, I guess it works.
I mean, it would work, but I'll be astonished. Like, why would you even do that? Damn it!
It's like, what was the come on stuff for? Oh, that's a voice modulator. Although I can see Ishida totally doing that.
True.
Pull off the voice modulator, be like, yeah. It's like, oh, come on. It's like, huh? It's like, but you can talk normally. Yeah, I got this voice modulator thing, so we're good. No, but we all know Hide is not in probably the best condition. Like, let's be honest. The second Hide, it's not like Hide takes off the mask and you're gonna see a completely fresh face. No, you're going to see scars. Like, that face has probably gone through some deep shit. Let's be honest. Like, that's what I'm expecting from Hide. And yeah, like, that is a theory that I'm seeing roll around, and I can actually kind of believe that, because I'm correlating that with this. Like, Hajime is shocked. He's like, wait, what? It's like, my face. What happened? I was so cute. And yo, like, Kaneki. This dude's in this Cognane, and Hajime has the RIP treatment. I'm like, alright, look, Hajime. You kind of deserve that for what you did to Shio, because Shio was a lovable dude. He did not deserve the shit that you gave him. So, fitting, actually, that this actually happens to you. As cruel as it's like, yeah, I get it, but he's a kid. But no, like, this kid killed, well, yeah, another kid, but the other kid was a lot more down to earth.
Well, I guess you could say the innocent of the two.
There we go. I think that's the right term I was trying to use, but yeah. That's happening. And then you get the old guy freaking out, like, wait, what? Kill. We can't. They said capture the chief. And Kaneki's just sending his Cognate, and he's like, he is decking out all these old guys, like, left and right, like, cutting them up, all separate pieces. And they don't know what the hell they want to do. Because they're just like, wait, like, and he's still going in. And again, the only thing on his mind is Toka. Toka. Yep. Bunch of Tokas, let's just say that right now. And on page 18, I'm not sure if you guys are noticing this, but you can already see, like, something. Like, it's like very black. And it's kind of like already like hitting the roof of where they're at right now.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it reached towards. That's how it reached towards the area where Furuta was at.
Mm-hmm.
Because Furuta was obviously going back upward already. Like, that was the bathroom. I think that was, well, not bathroom, but that was the area where the first time we see Toka started to run away. That was like the first area,
Right,
around there. So he was really leaving, and then that huge Kagane was following them. And then,
right.
shit happened.
But yeah, like, it's funny because this whole thing happened, and there was like, wait, an earthquake. It's a big one, and they're just like, Chief, what's that? And he's like, that is a bunch of See, I got stuck on this for a while because I'm like, thinking, well, hold on, is that Kaneki, or is that like all the O guys like compressed into one being? Like, I'm still gonna I can believe that this is Kaneki, but at the same time I'm thinking, well, hold on, the O guys are all kind of like an imitation of Kaneki. So unless Furuta did something to the O guy to where like you have like this big chain reaction occur, and I guess in a way you have like all the disassembled body parts of the O guy coming together as one and forming this thing, then yeah, I don't know. Sparta, do you want to give your thoughts on that?
Well, it's kind of hard to say until the next chapter, but my guess is that maybe it's just the way it is. Like, maybe it's not the fact it's just the old guy. Oh, now we transmuted the old guys into Kaneki's body parts, so it's like a fusion train reaction. I don't know. I don't think that's the case. I just think it's more of the case of just Kagane being so disgustingly mutated now. Maybe that's just how it is, because it kind of reminds me how it was back in Kaneki versus Arima, when
Right.
when Kaneki was using his Kagane, he had a hard time because it was turning him into like some weird demonish, monsterish looking, which by the way looks like a dragon, which is kind of scary looking back at it now.
True. That's true.
And
So in a way, like from what you're saying, like the Kagane is kind of like living, breathing, and has like a mind of its own.
right, that's what it seems like. It's like some Resident Evil, the old days. Well, actually, new days too, but especially the recent one. It's like so mutated, such a weird, messed up crap. But that's just how they are. It's just how it looks like. It's like some virus. And looking back at the Kaneki versus Anima again, there was the scene where the Kagane was talking, saying, "I win." Like it has his own mind, if not is using the mind of Kaneki and just doing the talking because it have his own faces or mouths or whatever. And in this case, it have his own eyeball, like some Resident Evil. Resident Evil always has that trend of eyeballs in this. They don't do it anymore, but still, that's always a representation of a mutated, disgusting creature that seems like the worst of the worst and can be considered as the ultimate enemy, I guess you could say, the ultimate final boss, because it looks so disgusting. It looks nasty.
It really does.
Yeah. So now they're seeing a huge Kagane just twirling all over the place and aiming at them and start killing them with no remorse. Yeah, it really doesn't look good for.
No. So for all you guys wondering, like, wait, is this actually what Kaneki looks like? No, like his body's still there. It's his Kagane that's doing all this.
Right.
That's what it is, and that's just his Kagane alone. Whew. I'm scared with what his personality is going to be then.
That's the part that we still don't know right now. Like, what exactly is now? Mm-hmm. Like, how he looks like. What is he now? What is his belief? What does he go by? Is he even stable at this time?
I don't know. It's
freaky.
Yeah, for lack of better words, freaky. It's definitely freaky. Mm-hmm. Because, especially with what's happening right now, it's like, looks, because, okay, at this point, I'm gonna make another Bleach reference, and Sparda's totally gonna get this, as well as everybody else. Looks like he ate the ogre like he was supposed to. Like, I'm looking forward to now, and I'm like, are you like the Aizen Sasuke of Tokyo Ghoul? Like, where you had all this shit planned? Like, hold on. Because there's only one dude I know who would plan this far ahead with an anime manga. And most of the time for me, it usually goes back to Aizen from Bleach. So now, at the very least, I'm like, wait, hold on. Like, is there not one thing that okay, besides Matsuri, like, is there really not one thing that caught you off guard? Like, this, that piece of shit known as Florida, guys. To quote Odin, that piece of shit known as Florida.
He freaking did it. He did it.
He definitely did it. Like, his own men are running around. And Ford is like, don't flee. And they're like, what the huh? And he's doing it on purpose. Because he wants the Kagane, like, hey, eat up, little baby. And, okay, did Ford to die? That's what I'm confused about.
I don't know, but if one thing for certain, if the investigator from there lives somehow, and if you see Furuta outliving his supposedly death, then that would expose him. But then again, he probably killed them, so who knows? He's like, oh, you know my true identity. You know what? You die. So who knows?
If like this is Furuta's like light Yagami mode, and you guys know exactly what I'm referring to, but if that's what this is, then please. Please. I'd rather see that. But yeah, it's like I win, and I'm gonna assume this is Kaneki's state of mind, or is this Furuta?
Which?
Because I know that because I know people are kind of debating on that from what I've seen. Like some people are saying that that's Kaneki or Furuta saying it.
The I win.
Mm-hmm.
It was Furuta
Okay, that's what I thought.
because he never because like he never really said I win until now. All I know is that he was hoping that he would win because like back in I think it was like what chapter 140 I think it's 140. Let me make
Right.
sure. Quick.
I believe it's 140.
Yes, it's 140. He was saying that everything has to go order quarterly to him. If it does go the same way without any hitches or problems, any fault, without anything different, like say like, oh, Suzuki betrays me. Damn, now I'm really messed up. Or like, oh man, the plan won't work after all. If nothing comes about, he will win. Especially when Kaneki shows up alone, he will win. So when he shows up alone, he got trigger happy because the fact that it shows up alone, the something that he was hoping for, which he got his wishes, then that's where he comes in and is like, okay, all I have to do is this: have Suzuya and Humby fight him and beat him, which seems like a guarantee because I know how good they are. And lo and behold, they are so good that they defeat Kaneki. And then he could finally employ that final part of the mission. And that is to make them forcefully feed with using Ogai, who are representative of Rize, which is the same thing as Kaneki. So that's like a high RC cells right there. Because there's not only Ogai is awakened and they're like like a top level of Q squad sort of sense. That's just only gonna make it the RC cell within Kaneki even much higher. And it's pretty ironic. Well, not ironic. It's more like funny in a cruel way that Furuta ends up getting eaten up, I guess, by Kaneki because he too was experimented with Rize Kagane, correct? So
I believe so.
yeah. So that's like, hey, I have her too. So why don't you eat me as well? I'll give you all the RC you need. And he just did. He just take it as it is. So it's crazy because like everything was right there, the plan. When every time I look back to 101, 101 actually gives out every part of the plan he was going to do. But you just never come across because you're just thinking, okay, this chapter shows the point that Furuta is just a crazy madman. He wants to make 101 Dalmatian out of Rize because, he loves Rize. He wants to, I guess, make a lot of babies out of her. Well, that did come true. Just not the way how we all did.
Yeah.
Just not the way we all think about. The way how he did it was to do what Kano has done with Kaneki. And that is just experiment to another person. And old guy is dumb. So you got that under the wrap. Then the next one comes in. And what's the next one? Oh, I would like you have to play with the children. He's playing with the children by eating them, killing them, and succumb them in order to become dragon, which that happened right there. And another part is, why don't you disappear from the face of the earth? That way, it would be super peace or something like that. Everything would be calm.
That line always stuck out to me. So
yeah.
I was thinking, hold on, what is that? Okay, and now when I think about this chapter, I'm like, oh my god, that makes sense.
Exactly. He was actually being right. And that's what he's trying to do. If you go for that puzzle, that would mean he's trying to make Kaneki as a common enemy to everyone, human and ghoul. If he starts killing ghoul, then he's no doubt a madman. Then he's no doubt going to force everybody to work together because they have a common enemy. Is that the super piece that Furuta want? I don't know. Maybe that is. Maybe it is not. But definitely that seems like it's heading towards there in terms of having Kaneki as basically the final boss to everyone. And, like you go back to this chapter again, you have this old guy feeling downright confused what to do. They were told to capture him, but Furuta didn't want to capture him. He wanted to make a dragon out of him. In other words, he was just pretty much let old guy be a body bag, literal body bag for Kaneki. So he didn't give a crap about them. He was just using them as a sacrifice, a sacrificial limb to Kaneki for the sake of him going override with RC cells. That's like crazy because like how he just used all the all guy experiment just for the sake of that, rather than for the sake of like, oh, we got a super soldiers. So there's no coincidence that he used Rize as the source for these all guy to have this type of Kagane, these type of power, whatever. That was the whole main point. So pretty much Furuta just abandoned all guy and hope for the best that Kaneki would actually consume it, which he ends up doing. So as soon as Furuta turns around and see that, he pretty much won because he realized, like, yeah, he took it. He took the bait. Game over. I got this win.
Oh my god! Like I feel bad for the old guy. Like I mean, yeah, the old guys are. They're not exactly the greatest characters, but it's like they were just there to be fodder. Like that was the raw purpose.
Yeah, you know, it's another messed up thing. Maybe I'm not sure, but the fact that he has everybody in the S3 squad, which is pretty much the Zuya squad, and now everybody's getting slaughtered. It's like kind of make a way to say, hey, Suzuya, you should really hate Kaneki now because he's killing your men.
Yep.
Yeah. And you know what you want to know is the messed up part? And I don't know. I don't know government. I don't know finance. I don't know economy stuff. But let's just say that Kaneki does destroy a lot of part of Tokyo. If that's the case, it will be ironic and very, very, very cruel that whatever Furuta said about, we do need to save our money, it will still go to waste because all that money is going to go to the destruction of Tokyo. So in other words,
that's a very good point.
So in other words, it would still end up being the total loss for CCG. And they probably end up cutting the cost so much that Shinohara will officially die. And all that stuff, all that thing that Furuta was telling him, even though it may be true or not, in the end, he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, like it would just all go to waste. It would just all go to waste.
Exactly. It's because he only does that to encourage him in order for him to make sure of valid victory. So if he give him the victory by beating Kaneki, then it will lead to one final part, which is obviously make him in Dragon. And it did.
Yep.
Everything was there.
And, oh my god. Like, I don't know. I honestly don't know. This chapter blew my mind in a lot of ways. It really did. But I'm more worried too. Okay, like while I'm excited, at the same time I'm worried because look at everything that's happening right now. Because you've got the thing that's happening right now, and you got Ford saying, "Oh, how cute! How very cute, my little dragon." Then you got Misa with Naki's little body, which still hurts because that wasn't that long ago. But she's like, "What the?" And then you have you've got like this dark mouth like reaching up from the surface. The goodbye the end, hello the end. Then you get chapter 144. The real chapter. Not what you got in the beginning of the chapter, but it says A, and you got like a bunch of A's. You know what the funny thing about this whole thing is?
What is?
Where did all these A's come? Like, where was the last time we saw a bunch of A's?
I'll be honest, I don't know. So I'll let you answer this for me.
Think back to part 1.
Right?
Very last arc.
Very last arc. Okay. So a Teku Ray then. Was that the part where he was screaming after his eyeball got stabbed?
I believe so.
Really? So, but what makes it that scene relevant to that?
Well, I guess it's just how you have like all the A's coming out,
right?
Yeah, I think that's just how I'm looking at it. Because I'm like, well, yeah, that's a nice correlation, I guess, like having like all the A's just. But I mean, I guess different context. I just kind of noticed like how there's like that little tiny correlation there.
I
That
mean,
was
it's
mainly
possible. It's possible. It's confusing how he comes with these titles, these chapter titles named these days now.
seriously.
Yeah. Now we got like a bajillion A's with a question mark, just in case he's like, well, let me rethink that. Should I go or no? Or maybe I should just continue going it's so weird. I don't know.
It is. It really is. Now, here's where the whole Tokyo Ghoul V theory comes into play, because I know a lot of you guys are probably thinking like, "Oh, Part 3 is shut down." No, it's not shut down, because yes, while a lot of us did think that this was probably going to be the final chapter, the fact that Susie got the Volume 13 cover says otherwise. It really says otherwise, because Volume 14, and we said this in the very beginning of the podcast. Volume 14 of the original was Ken, Kaneki. So Volume 14 of this, it's definitely going to get Kaneki because of, like, what just transpired. We are going to get a Tokyo Ghoul V. Now, why am I saying V, more advocating towards V now than ever before? Well, look at the situation. Look at what's about to happen in Tokyo. Like, Tokyo, or I technically should say Neo Tokyo, is what it should be called, because there was a Tokyo a while back. Like, go back to, I'm going to, like, if I remember the page correctly, it's 117, page 13. It's with Ayato and the kids. Like, they brought up the fact that the Naga basically destroyed everything. And you just have, like, this one page. And Sparta knows exactly what I'm talking about, but this one page of, like, the old Tokyo just, like, destroyed, like, shattered and everything. And if you look at Kaneki's state, it almost looks like it's about to be the same thing. Now, you might be, again, kind of thinking, well, where does the Tokyo V, where does, like, the title of Tokyo V correlate to all this? Who was it that dealt with the previous One-Eyed King? Well, the original One-Eyed King. The organization, right? And what are they usually doing? They are always in the background.
Right.
Since a similar situation is about to unfold, I bet you 100% that the V organization is going to play a role. And that's going to be the driving force behind Tokyo Ghoul V. That's just my little theory there. But Sparta, do you want to mention anything about that?
That theory, I'm going to be behind it 100% because it does seems like it's the best time to start to showcase the V organization. They always hiding behind the dark, but they always portray as somebody or a group that needs to be taken care of. In other words, they need to be eliminated. But it's hard to do so because you always have the CCG to blocking that path, blocking the way. And Eto mentioned this a long time ago that she was aiming for the one that's really the beholder of the birdcage, so to say, because they're the one that's pulling the strings. They're the one that are in the background that says, like, oh, we make the rule. We're the one that judge the world. You just do whatever you think, whatever you want to do. But if so long you temper with us, well, we're going to do something about it. We're going to make things, keep it quiet. Again, you got to go back to with Akuzan, with the whole effect with his wife, his late wife, pretty much, was like a spy, right? And right. she got enough information about the organization. And what they did, they told them to kill her. Got to do it now, or, much things was going to happen worse. And he did. He has to do it because the V organization seems very, very shady as hell. And that's rightfully so, because they're in trench coat, black suit, whatever. Point is, it's definitely the one that put in the string. Now, this whole scenario with Dragon and the fact they were so fixated about the One-Eyed King, and it makes sense because they dealt with that back then. They dealt with that a long time ago. So now they're trying to prevent it again. It's too late. I mean, they could still take it out, of course, but the idea of to prevent it from this massive mayhem is too late. Now they have to show up again and take care of the business. outside, take care of the business visibly, and everybody will witness that. So if you think about it, perhaps the idea that Furata wanted to find the one-eyed king was more of the idea of like, okay, if I find that one-eyed king, I could make him a dragon. I just need to know who is it. And once he find out it's Kaneki, how can I do this? I know him a lot. I could do this. It just sounds crazy, but it just might work. And that's where he does it. Now, Furata was in the V organization, but I think he's trying to do it behind their back to cause a mayhem, which is going on right now, in order to break the cage. So, as many always say, so maybe Furata always wanted to bring that super piece by doing this method. By basically doing the method that happened in the first One-Eyed King. Because everybody else have their own mindset. Everybody else has the idea of like, okay, I'm gonna find the V organization and kill them. But instead, him is like, you know what? I could cause massive destruction by using that One-Eyed King and cause mayhem across the entire Tokyo. Therefore, they will have no choice but to force themselves to go out there and try to solve the problem themselves. And if they do, fine. If they don't, well, fine. At least I made that much of attention to the entire Tokyo that there's this huge entity that was called Dragon that just destroyed everything. That's just caused so much destruction. And the V organization, well, it sure took a long time to take care of it. Now, did they? And, this is the best time to do so because this is what exposed them. They have no choice but to show up. The CCG are weak at this point because a lot of them are injured. Yeah, you got Suzuya, but he's a little bit hurt too as well. So he's being a treater. So everyone else right now are in a weak state, or if not dead. And the only thing you could do is call the V organization because they took care of the first One-Eyed King. Why not take care of this one then? Should be I wouldn't say easy, but you got this. You could do this. So, but again, that involves them to involvement. It's like what happens the first time when in the last arc, when they show up because of the sake of Furata to try to be the new bureau chief. They show up. Everybody was like so confused who the hell they are. They didn't even know they were allies for CCG because they have zero idea. No one knows them. No one knows them. There are people that do know them, and that would be Eto, but she is MIA, not KIA. She's
at
MIA.
The moment, yeah. At the moment, she's like MIA. And actually, now that I think about it, this would be the perfect time to bring her back up into the story.
Well, yeah, that would be perfect time. See, I think that's why either she comes back by the end of the series, if not, she will come back in part 3 for sure. Because the V organization, the one that she really wants to aim the most,
is the V organization.
Right. They will finally show up visibly. And that's where she could come back again. Because right now, everybody like us assume that she's dead. She's supposed to be dead. We assume she's dead. I don't think she's dead. I think she's just behind the dark because we don't know if Kaneki helped her one last time before he goes away. He does own her. She's technically
that's true. He does own her.
Yeah, so the best thing I could see him doing is to give him one little small chance of escape, one small chance of life. And plus, Eto did inform him with a lot of details about, everything about life, the V organization, and, the tape recording, I think? Oh, no, like the whole...
I believe so, yeah. I
right.
know.
So it's like they were like working buddies. Working partners, whatever. So he owes her that. And plus, he did recall once, maybe I was trying to help you for the sake of your father. Even though he did say, but why should I really do that if you're such a rotten bastard? But point is, maybe he decided to give him that one chance. That's all but confirmed. But I believe she's still alive. I just think she's being held off for whatever the rightful moment, which this could be it. Either here or the next chapter of the series, which is part 3.
Yeah. And like I said, this is actually a perfect opportunity, not just for Eto, but for Amon, Akira, for Hide, Uri. I mean, like, the possibilities are endless right now.
What I wanted to know if Furita is really dead or not. I don't think he is, but if he is, I wonder what. Yeah, I wonder what kind of predicament will place CCG, because they would be in a most terrible state without a bureau chief, and the fact that this cause of destruction is out of their reach.
I mean, they were already in a crumbling state after Arima's death, but this, I mean, like, it's like you like if Arma was like the big pillar that kept the CCG intact, and him get like it's like okay, I'm trying to try the right analogy here, but it's like he's like the center, and then things around the center gets like affected like drastically, and you have like only like these small factions left, and which essentially became like what Forta CCG is. With Forta gone, like assuming based on what happened in the chapter, that only means that the CCG like, and I think we said this like a while back on one of the podcasts, but this really does look like it could possibly be the end of the CCG. Just with what Dragon is doing right now.
Unless he has somebody to follow up, I don't know. Either that, or it's really the end of CCG.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, but maybe there'll be something else that happened. I don't know. I don't really know. They got the investigator witnessed him getting killed. I'm quoting here, getting killed off right in their faces. But again, if these investigators end up dying, then there's no proof that he did die. Furuta, that is.
But if one of them survives and they see Furuta regenerating, whoo,
whoops,
exposed.
Yeah, but then that only begs the question: who would take over from there?
I mean, but see, by that point, it wouldn't be Furuta CCG. Then it'd be somebody else entirely.
We do know. Well,
oh, go on.
No, I'm saying we do know there are still CCG members that we have not seen in this arc that's still around. So who knows? They could take over or not.
Let's see. Candidates right now. I could see Hide doing it.
Hide, you said?
Definitely, yeah.
Well, yeah. If his I need your help, Uri will insinuate to him or to anybody of theirs to reclaim the control of CCG somehow, some way. I mean, that's possible. Maybe that's the reason why Masuri decided to join him.
Mm-hmm.
That's possible.
Oh, yeah.
But then the only question I'm thinking is like, what would it be for Kanu then?
I didn't think about that, but yeah. Kano.
It's so many mystery right now.
That's Kano. He'll be like, I'll meet you guys in part 3.
Yeah.
That's how I roll.
The only damn bastard that's still alive to this point. You got this character that died in here, which is great. And now we still can't get this damn scientist to die. And he's about to go to part 3. Unless he get one shot out of nowhere in the end of part 2. Then I'll be like, yes.
But Sparda, he is the basically the catalyst as to why the series is what it is today. You have to keep him alive. Shonen logic. Coolest guy ever.
We got enough villains. We're good without him.
I mean, you're not wrong about that.
Mm-hmm.
What I want to know is, are the others gonna like see what this Kagane is? Like Toka, Hinami. Aito's another one I didn't think of, but what's he gonna do?
Aito?
Mm-hmm. I mean, he is underground right now.
Yeah. Yes, he is.
I mean, well, because we don't know what happened to the original One-Eyed King, as far as what we know. So, I'm wondering if this would be perfect to like bring him out if Aito is able to locate him. And if he's down there.
That's a good point. That'd be like a two Titans.
Literally.
I just need the OSTs. Dun, dun,
Season 3's gonna lot to top that. But
oh man.
that's one thing I'll say. But I mean, I'm trying to think. Because I feel like we covered almost everything. Unless I'm missing something.
Well, best thing we can say is it's not ending here. We got a volume worth left. Trust us.
A volume's worth possibly 12 chapters, maybe. So 156.
Yeah, we got a lot of time.
We got a while. Well, yeah, we definitely got a while.
Yep.
Tokyo Ghoul ends December. Oh, I can actually do that. Yeah, December.
You think it's gonna end December? You said
around that time, because if it's like 12 chapters for the volume, then let's see here real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4 October. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 8. Yeah, around December. That's what I'm thinking.
Right before the break. Interesting. Yep. That sounds possible, actually.
I'm just trying to add up all the dates. I'm like, wait, 4, 8, yeah. So around there. That's what I'm thinking.
How long people had to wait for Tokyo Ghoul re?
I think it was maybe. Let me think, because I know Tokyo Ghoul ended in September. Well, this is after we both got into it, but Tokyo Ghoul ended in September, and I think restarted in November.
So a month break?
About, yeah. So if it ends in December, then I'm going to say...
February?
Yeah, Tokyo Ghoul V, which I'm hoping that's what the title is. It'll probably be in February. That's what I'm thinking.
Interesting.
Yep.
Well, the time is ticking, so it's gonna. We're gonna eventually find out. But I do think, but it's definitely we're gonna get part 3. I practically guarantee that one.
That's for certain, at least.
Yes. The title, I don't know, but I am hoping for that title because it's really catching on to me already.
I know, right?
This is a good title. It makes sense too, though. It makes sense, especially what's going on right now. Again, all you have to do is to trigger them. And, having this dragon, this one-eyed king going rampage is like a wake-up call. It's like a Batman signal right now.
Batman signal.
You gotta just bring them out. TCG has no conditions to fight them.
Yep. That's basically all it is. And we just gotta wait and see what happens in the next Tokyo Ghoul podcast. Or should I say Tokyo Ghoul re-podcast, so that way people know it's not ending. We are still pressing forward, guys.
Yay.
Still pressing forward, and I'm glad about that. I really am.
I'm not.
Otherwise, it would have felt a little weird if this was the last one.
Oh yeah, that was definitely true. Like it was strange that it felt like it was going to be the last chapter in a rush state, which is it's weird because it act like, oh, we got canceled, we got to rush this, but that was just a troll.
I know. Suishida, man, Suishida. But yeah, aside from that, guys, I think that's pretty much it. Sparda, it was really great having you on board again.
Oh, it's always great to be here. It's great to be here, and it was great that this is not the last podcast ever.
Oh yeah, no way.
I was like, okay, with the last chapter coming up, I got figured out how to celebrate this final chapter, and then when the podcast comes up, how I'm going to celebrate that as well. Oh man, so out of nowhere, what am I gonna do? But thankfully, I have a lot of time to think over now because not only the series continues, but there's a lot of big plot development that's happening right now. So yeah, it's great to have more podcasts on the way with more discussions and theories.
Oh yeah, and in a way, guys, if you guys didn't catch on, I kind of based it off of how the chapter played out. So I was like, yeah, let's play into the fact that this is the final podcast in the beginning, and then boom, switch course. So yeah, it pretty much worked out in our favor. And I'm looking forward to what's coming next.
Likewise, likewise.
Yep. So with that being said, guys, that's pretty much it. I'm LuckyRave,
Sparda3g.
and we'll catch you guys next time. Peace.